Last weekend, Wagner's boss angrily sent thousands of troops into Russian territory, declaring that the Russian Ministry of Defense would pay the price. He believes that the Russian Defense Ministry attacked and killed many Wagner soldiers. At the same time, Wagner's boss also believed that there was a conspiracy to dissolve Wagner, so he had to act first to prevent Wagner from being dissolved. Therefore, Prigozhin, the owner of Wagner, acted very quickly and in a short time declared that he had captured the command center of the Russian army in Rostov province, captured the military airport of the Russian army, and Wagner's army flooded the streets. It seemed that things would be very complicated, but then the media continuously reported that Wagner voluntarily withdrew its troops when it was only 200 kilometers from Moscow. Why did they withdraw their troops? According to information, the president of Belarus acted as a mediator to negotiate between Russia and Wagner. Details of the negotiations were not made public. However, Wagner's boss said that he withdrew his troops because he did not want a bloodbath between Russians. On the Russian side, they immediately canceled the criminal prosecution against Wagner's boss for rebellion. In addition, all soldiers participating in the rebellion will also be pardoned. However, according to the agreement, Wagner's boss will have to go into exile in Belarus. There is evidence that Wagner's boss has indeed come to Belarus, including the president of Belarus confirmed that the owner of the private military group Wagner had come to Belarus. The second evidence is a commercial Embraer Legacy 600 aircraft with a registration number matching the aircraft belonging to Wagner's boss in U.S. sanctions documents also landed at a military airport near the capital of Belarus. If it is true that Wagner's boss has moved to live in Belarus, it also means that he accepts giving up the organization he has been associated with for decades and accepts it being dissolved as he once suspected. Currently, the Russian Ministry of Defense says that for now, Wagner's army will hand over heavy weapons to the Russian army while members of Wagner will be free to choose to return home or sign a contract with the army. This means that Wagner's soldiers will become regular soldiers of the Russian army. However, some opinions suggest that Wagner not only has an army fighting in Ukraine but also has an army scattered all over the world, especially in Africa. Who feeds those who are far away like Africa? If no one feeds them, will they join extremist organizations or establish their own armed organizations, and whether it can cause security and order problems in African countries? So what damage did Wagner's rebellion cause? First is human damage. When Wagner marched into Russia, they encountered resistance from the Russian army. 2 planes were shot down by Wagner while firing at Wagner. Wagner said that although they did not want to shed blood, the Russian army attacked them first. Next are 2 soldiers of the Russian army who fought with Wagner. When they saw Wagner rebelled, they also fled but were all killed. A total of 13 people were killed, even though there is no evidence to verify this information. However, President Putin in one of his speeches on television had a passage saying that he honored the courage and sacrifice of those pilots who saved Russia from the tragic consequences of rebellion, so we can see that pilot sacrifice is real. In addition, rebellion also caused many infrastructure damages. Many roads were damaged by tanks from Wagner. 19 houses were damaged in a gunfight between Wagner and Russian army. In addition, an oil storage facility was also burned down and was also believed to be caused by Wagner. An article on USA Express shows that many people in southern Russia were very confused and worried when Wagner forces appeared in their city during sudden riots. An American living in Rostov recounted several loud explosions appearing across the river where I lived, standing from afar, still seeing black smoke rising into the sky. Traffic from Rostov to other cities was immediately blocked. Some others said they heard loud explosions when their family went shopping at CityFast Market. At that time, no one knew what happened outside, then saw military tanks, helicopters. Reconnaissance of Russia had set up checkpoints on roads home about 3 kilometers from market. Russian authorities declared anti-terrorist campaign in this area, issued travel restrictions. Some schools banned students from leaving dormitory. Oil warehouse in Vorosek city then burned fiercely after loud explosion. So we have learned about the uprising of the Wagner Group leader in Russia, but there are many things we still don't know about the negotiations that took place. We also don't know what choices the Wagner Group will make in the future, whether they will align with the Russian military, return home to their wives, or go to Belarus with their leader. Many people find it hard to understand. When the Wagner Group's leader was afraid of disbandment before the uprising, But afterwards, he willingly disbanded the group and chose to live in exile in Belarus. There must be some mysterious reason behind it. What is your opinion on this? Let's discuss it together.